In today's episode of Behind the Vlog, we're in Bakersfield, California with Mark, Mary, and Briggs of Gen X Talks. Let's go meet them.
Do you ever wonder what a Gen X thinks? Dad, is there a reason Mom is just mad in her office right now?
Well, I'm sure she thinks there is.
Well, she's in there knocking stuff over, and I'm sure you have something to do with it.
I'm sure I do too.
Okay, then how are you supposed to tell her she's wrong without her getting more mad?
How do I know that? As soon as I figure that out, I'll let her know her boxes of Amazon products are out front in the grass getting rained on for the past 2 hours after she lectured me on what a sunny day today was supposed to be.
This is the first time I'm going back to California. Got to go and usually make it under a minute, so these are broken up into pieces. We chop out all the air between them. Right. Try to get the overall video down close to a minute, then go back to the beginning and put the Gen X Talks logo up there somewhere. Just fades in and fades out at the beginning. Then I'll go in here and try to pick a song that I think would be good in the background for listening to it. In the other videos, there's always just one playing. Whatever's playing we do, but this time there wasn't anything playing, so we have to go back in with one of my songs that I listen to and put it in there.
So where'd you learn to edit?
Well, I started editing back when it was videotapes and 8mm, when you had to cut them together with a splicer and tape them together. And then, when videotapes came along, it was tape to tape, reel to reel, cutting it together. And then I didn't do anything for a long years. I was busy raising a family. And then we started doing this. I have the idea. I know how to do it. But Briggs had to teach me that there's editing software. Now, in fact, there's so much software. It's so beyond me, I can't even figure it out. I can't do it. It's just way too much for me.
So is that short going up today?
Not if I can't get the song.
Ah, gotcha.
And I'm so stubborn, I'm stuck on this one. I'll just sit here and ruin everything trying to figure it out. See, we're still having problems with the internet. We should be more than 3. This should already be done. That just means it's something glitched. We just had the guy out here yesterday fixing all this.
Maybe it's your Mac.
Shut up.
What'd you title this one? Amazon Rain?
Amazon Rain and Mom's Mad. Or Mom's right there. Amazon Rain
and Mom's angry.
Hey, it didn't ding us. And public and go now. Okay, so that one's up. But now
hit play. Let's take a look at it.
Where is it?
Welcome to Gen X Talks. And Dad, is there a reason Mom is just mad in her office right now?
Well, I'm sure she thinks there is.
Well, she's in there knocking stuff over, and I'm sure you have something to do with it.
I'm sure I do too.
Well, you gonna tell me what's going on, or what?
Last week she had to make an appointment for some event she wanted to do in Vegas. She was making hotel reservations, and I told her she had the wrong weekend, and she told me to shut up. I was stupid and stay in my lane, so mind my own business.
Okay, and what happened?
And this week she found out that she had the wrong weekend, the wrong hotel, and when she tried to switch it around, it's all booked up solid.
So she's mad at herself.
You think she's in her office mad at herself, yelling? No.
Okay, well then who's she mad at?
She's mad at me.
You, why? You tried to help her.
Because she told me, hey, you're supposed to know when to stay in your lane, and you're supposed to know when not to stay in your lane and help me out.
Okay, then how are you supposed to tell her she's wrong without her getting more mad?
How do I know that? As soon as I figure that out, I'll let her know her boxes of Amazon products are out front in the grass getting rained on for the past 2 hours after she lectured me on what a sunny day today was supposed to be.
Welcome to Gen X Talks and Dad. Is there a reason Mom is just mad in her office?
All right, guys, here we are. We are here with Mark, Mary, and Briggs. And I'm Greg Gutfeld today, apparently. So
Damn right you are.
so this is Mark. Mark, where are we?
We're in studio, KGXT Studios, in the land of Bake, as we call it, Bakersfield. Everybody calls it that. Okay, does he have to be here for this? Because I just throw him out the
Today,
door.
just today. Yeah, after that, he doesn't. Yeah,
After
just
today, I'm
after
gone.
today, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
fired.
So I bet it gets hot as out here, huh?
It does.
In summertime.
Not as bad as
It's just as
Death Valley or
It's
something.
bad as anywhere.
Or
Yeah.
Vegas. Could be worse.
Hey, the fan came on. We're good. We got 16 minutes to set this up.
What are we setting up for?
The podcast.
Oh, the
you haven't done
podcast.
for this. You
So
haven't
we're
added
going to
one
be
thing.
going. Is it live? We're going live
We'll
at
be
10.
live on KGXTradio.com.
There's a podcast live at 10 a.m., which is about. Look at this. We got what? 20 minutes? 15 minutes. Real quick, how did, and it's probably start with Briggs.
Yeah.
Dude, tell us, how did this get started?
So, oh God. So forever ago, so 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, so when I was in middle school, TikTok had just come out. I really wanted to be TikTok famous, like a lot of my friends. We all wanted to, get some views, likes, whatever. And so I did what a lot of kids did and just the average TikTok videos. And they're all gone now, thankfully. I deleted them all. They were really embarrassing. But I only had one video get about 2,000 views, and that was it. It was just me doing just a TikTok dance or something like that. And then my mom was like, you should use your dad in videos. And I was like, that's a great idea, because my dad's a funny guy. I've always thought he's hilarious. And my first idea was, I'm going to sit him down in a chair and put a light on him, just like an interview style, and talk to him about, Gen X, what's it all about. And that didn't work, because he doesn't like being on camera at all. Like, I'm surprised he even is this involved in Gen X Talks nowadays. So, eventually, after 6 months of me just, not thinking of anything new, my mom said, why don't you just go in there, film him? Like, no production quality, no nothing. Just go in there, just pull out your camera, ask him a few questions. And I did, and the first video went viral.
Yeah.
And I just rode the wave from there. So, it was all about... Are you pulling up the video?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm pulling up the video. So
Hey,
I'm going to throw this
you
in the
ever wonder
corner,
what a Gen X
guys.
thinks?
Well, you're in the right place.
We need your reaction on this.
Oh, it's so bad.
How old were you?
I was 15 years old.
Okay.
This was 2020 or 2021. Early 2021. This was January 29th, 2021. That's when it was.
Was he ready for this?
No.
No?
No, I just walked up to him with the camera, and I was working in the garage, and then I asked him 3 questions that I thought would kind of bug him a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so bad. You can hear, I got a notification in the video too. You can hear the boom, boom.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that, yeah.
Oh, it's so bad.
And then here, I'll turn that off. So there's the cue card one. That was one of the first ones, though, too, right? There
Which ones?
was one. It was cue cards where you asked him certain questions. I think that's
a deep cut. Yeah, I remember that
at it, it's
video.
like if you go to oldest on YouTube,
yeah.
I think it shows that's like one of the first ones.
So, yeah, because we started YouTube about a month after we started TikTok. So we had a month's worth of videos,
Okay.
and they're all out of order. So that's why that one's one of the oldest. But yeah, I remember that one. You remember, Dad? You had cue cards?
No.
Okay, of course no.
Yeah.
He's gonna say he doesn't.
He quizzes me on if I can remember a video, because we have hundreds and hundreds of videos. We're coming up on 1,000 videos.
Wow.
And he'll be like, he'll be scrolling through YouTube and look through old, and so he'll play a video where I just hear the audio. He'll be like, which video is this? And I'll be like, God, I don't know. It's really tough to tell sometimes, because there'll be a one-off video that maybe we only posted to YouTube on accident, because we were very sloppy in the beginning, as a lot of people are.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's deep cuts like that. I don't think anybody knows more about Gen X Talks than I do, but there's some of our fans definitely could challenge that.
Yeah.
Some people know a lot.
But the one that's really good that I watched not too long ago again was the one with Mark, where you're talking something about the difference between Gen X and millennials, and there was some millennial that was talking about the housing or whatnot, and
yeah, that f***ing idiot. He does videos all the time.
Stop expecting the same damn people who bought a 4-bedroom home and a brand new Cadillac convertible off of a $30,000 a year salary.
Listen up, man. I made $335 an hour. That's like $134 a week, less than $7,000 a year before taxes. And you think that we were all buying houses working at Burger King? The f*** is wrong with you? All his videos do are excuses for kids.
Right.
Like, it's not our fault. The houses are 1.2 million, and if you drive away, they're 500,000, and we can't afford it. And, we're gonna have to uproot our lives and live someplace we don't know anybody so we can afford a house. And I'm like, no. It.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Everybody drives an hour and a half away so they can afford a house here and work here. Why are you acting like you can't do this? This
right.
guy, so Briggs will find these videos and he'll come up and go, yeah, here's a guy talking, and he just makes excuses for 60 seconds.
Yep.
So we got to chop that up. So he'll just ask me, watch the video
yep.
and react to it, and then we record it. Then he can splice it all together and make it more entertaining, but at least he gets the point across.
Yeah.
But it's a counter video
right.
to these morons that just run out there and pretend that everything's not their fault and they're just victims.
Right.
We're all f***ing victims. Every one of us is.
My first job, I worked at a Burger King in 1984, and I made $3.35 an hour.
Yes.
Yep.
$3.35 was minimum wage.
$3.35 for me too.
All right, so are you going to be doing any more of the vertical version?
Yeah.
TikTok or YouTube?
Yeah, we always try to do like a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because that's like the basis of what we do.
Right.
So my dad and
That's
I
what
made.
set you guys off.
Yeah,
those.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so my dad and I made a commitment
Right.
to 90 days of just like a video every single day.
All
I made
right.
him agree to do it with me because he hates doing those.
Yeah.
Like out of all the videos and streams we do, those is like his least favorite. He hates it when I walk in and just ask him a question.
Right.
He
So
never knows when you're gonna. He never
Yeah.
knows when you're gonna hit him.
never
That's the
know.
thing.
So
Are you making one today?
Yeah, we're probably going to be doing one today, right, Dad?
Right, Dad?
Whatever.
All right.
Whatever.
I want to hear I don't give a f***.
Well, you're going to hear it. Just stick around.
You know I'm going to have to
Stick
bleep
around.
a lot of that out today.
One thing I will say is
Yeah.
I've toned down his cussing a lot
Yeah?
because of demonetization and stuff like that. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
he used to every other word. His vocabulary.
F-bombs.
He used it like a comma, but now it's not as frequent. So look at him. He's being more
Yeah.
pure.
Yeah, he's.
Look, man, I'm trying to get something done. Well, you three jokers are f***ing off. I'm trying to get something.
Almost had it.
Yeah.
In fact,
He almost
I'm
had
gonna
it.
I'm gonna title this "Dropping F-bombs with Gen X Talks."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's toned it down a lot.
I will thwart it by never using one.
There you go. I love that.
So you're already like
can't.
you
Yeah.
already dropped like
There's
4.
no way.
Throwing a
I'm
monkey
keeping count
wrench
for
in
the
it.
rest of the day.
There's
I'm
no-
keeping
yeah,
count.
there's no way.
We're at like 3 that I can remember.
What about our one millennial daughter, Megan, who when she was like 9, or 7,
yeah.
she just decided, Dad, every time you use a cuss word, I'm charging you $1. She quit counting like at 900.
Yes, she did. She
She
made
goes-
a bunch of money.
She
from
says,
it.
you're never paying me, are you? I didn't agree to it. You just can't impose that on me.
You don't even know you say it, I think. You just say it.
Okay, cussing is nothing. Okay, cussing is cursive. That's speaking in cursive.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, we got one quick second here. I'm just going to kind of show you guys their studio here. Let's take a look at some of the great stuff they've got up here.
Hey, Dad needs you to problem solve.
So I don't change anything on the butt ever. And
Gen
it's
X
not,
Talks
it doesn't show
100,000
us broadcasting.
subscribers.
It doesn't show any VU meter sliding side to side on it, so nobody can hear us. And I don't know why. The pod track is working because it hears us, and the Streamlabs can hear me because it's moving side to side.
I see you wear Broncos hats from time to time. What's that about?
It's kind of a long story. I'm trying to let me finish getting
You
this
got
thing
it.
set up.
I gotta shut the hell up. So we've got our lighting up in here. Got some newspaper articles over here.
Into something that I don't know everything how to set up. I'm looking for something that says pulling from the pod track maybe. All right, it says we are live on the butt. It says pod track signals are moving up and down. Streamlabs is moving side to side.
Welcome to KGXT, Gen X Talks podcast, live from Central California.
All right, so let's see. Let's start this over again. We're only...
They're still getting music.
Well, it's delayed. Give it 10 seconds. They're still getting music. Oh, I'm sorry. The technology isn't there. If you can do stuff faster than Spectrum and AT&T, you climb to the top of a pine tree and use two pine tins at the side of your head, and you make it go quicker.
We are ready to go.
Okay, can everybody hear us on the radio? KGXT radio, blah, 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 blah.
Staff's checking in.
Is staff checking in? Let's see if anybody on the radio is checking in. Yes, I'm monitoring the Chingaderas today, and no, nobody on KGXT Studios is checking in.
We got it from Discord. They're checking in and saying, and staff is.
All right, so it looks like, again, it looks like the pod track is moving up and down. It looks like Streamlabs is going side to side, and it appears that the butt is working. The butt stands for broadcast using this tool. I get calls all the time that no one can hear you. I am not going to tell you to bring your microphone closer to your face. I'm not telling you anymore. You want to be heard?
I almost said a really bad message just now.
What?
I was going to go, I'm not going to swallow the mic, okay?
I don't need you to. I just need you to get it close to your lips and play with it a little bit. Around.
Wow.
Get it right.
Okay.
All right. So we're God.
So graphic.
You
morning.
Wait a second. Your stuff is okay to say, but my stuff is too graphic.
Well, I'm not dropping F-bombs since
for
you got
Christ's
up
sake.
this morning.
So yeah, Greg Gutfeld's being a bit annoying in here. My God, this guy. So tell everybody who's the third wheel in the studio today.
We have Matt Baker here. He flew in yesterday from Colorado. He's here to do a sort of like a documentary, a blog of Gen X Talks.
Yeah, and it has,
what are we doing today?
It has very little to do with us. This is just his job. We are just a cog in his wheel. It's not like he saved up all of his money and said, when I get enough money saved up, I choose Gen X Talks. No, we're just one of many. So
yes, exactly.
All right.
And guess what? And the kid bailed on us. He's out.
Yeah,
like
he's
for
done.
right now.
If you're on Discord, you can see Greg waving
And we're not
around.
kidding. He looks like Greg Gutfeld.
He looks like Greg Gutfeld at the time. Yeah. So it was. That's why I nicknamed him that. But I'm good with nicknames anyway. So should we start the actual podcast now?
Yeah, you need to do the intro.
Welcome to the Gen X Talks podcast, broadcasting from KGXT Studios, 200 feet below occupied California. Is that good?
That was good. You haven't said that in a while.
I don't smell clutches that much anymore. You used to drive around. If you drove for a long time on the road, you could smell a brake. You smell brakes, and you just get sick to your stomach.
Yes, we were opening a window going, oh man, I don't know.
You're going to throw up. But, okay, but I don't smell that as much
I don't
anymore.
either.
So are brakes better now? Boom. Shoots out of his back tire, flattened out like a Frisbee, and it's coming right at the windshield. Now, I had like 1 second to decide what to do. Yeah, the median was a ton of dirt, and then oncoming traffic the other way, which is why when I'm telling the story, I remembered where it was. It wasn't on the 80. It wasn't in there.
Come on. What the heck?
I don't know. Somehow you always do the motions and you move stuff, and now we're zoomed in on your face so tight we can't see. Or maybe Greg did it. Was he behind you around?
I was.
Go up to the camera and do this. And he's like, now he knew that it's a lot of work, but even Ian said, I had no idea how much effort went into putting out, because people just think, you record something and throw it up. It's not even like that.
Like that.
It's so I want to just say I like it, and I feel better. It kind of pumps you up when someone takes time to seriously acknowledge how much time we put into this. And we don't have millions of subscribers that follow every minute of everything we do. But, if the group we have, I like them. I like them a lot. And I don't mind putting forth the effort for them. I really don't. Why is this such a controversy? Everyone's like, oh my God, there's drones. Oh my God, there's drones. What do? They go, the FBI, the press confronts the FBI and says, all right, is this Iranians? And they go, no, it's definitely not Iranians. Well, who is it? We can't tell you. All right, is it Chinese? No, it's not Chinese. Well, you obviously know who it is, because you won't tell us. You know who to say it's not. And well, can you follow them? Can you chase them? Can you track them?
They know who they
Okay,
are.
listen. This is where most Gen Xers think differently.
Okay.
Shoot them down. No, I'm serious.
No, we'll ask questions later.
Shoot them down,
Yeah.
and someone's going to come complaining. Someone's going to go, hey, mother, you shot down my drone. Oh, good. We were wondering who this belonged to. Why is that such a hard thing to understand?
I don't know.
Why can't you shoot them down? And guess what? If no one wants to come forward and complain, problem solved. The drones are gone. But if someone comes at you shot down 35 of our drones. Oh, you're from the Chinese consulate, aren't you? All right, so the drones are Chinese. Now we know. If you shoot them down, this is where I'm, not that I have any say-so, but people of New Jersey, shoot them down. If someone,
New Jersey too.
that's right. Here's the gig. If people in New Jersey just walk out tonight and everybody shoots those things down, we're done.
Exactly.
Who's gonna? Well, what if I go to jail? What if I get prosecuted? Who's going to complain?
Exactly.
And couldn't you make the case that you were hovering over my neighborhood and I'm protecting it?
Absolutely.
You know, as far as I know, it was a Martian invasion, and I don't like people from Mars. Those little green guys, and I shot them out of the sky. That could be your defense when you go into court.
That's right.
Now, see, his haircut came out good. Hey, kid.
Huh?
Is that the picture that your girlfriend sent?
Huh?
I know you got. You had to
he's
go.
in trouble
What?
now.
You got a picture from Addie and said this was the picture you're supposed to get of the haircut. Did you obey?
Did you obey your
Oh.
girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I didn't. The picture wouldn't load, but I knew what I
Oh,
wanted.
yeah. So he.
But yeah,
just went
it
with
is. It is what it was.
Uh-huh.
It's what I wanted.
That kind of looks like what my hair was when I was like 17.
Yeah, we gotta ask Addie though.
Okay.
So
How would
we're
she know
gonna.
what how would she know what I look
No,
like?
no,
at
no. We gotta
17?
ask Addie if this is what she wanted.
Does that resemble me at all?
Yeah, it does. I told you, he looks a lot like you. It's very scary.
Hey, you know what? I haven't really stared at Greg Gutfeld. For those of you that are watching the studio camera,
We have
he's,
Greg.
he's in here. I've only glanced over at him a couple times. I've been trying to be professional and let him do his job. Because if I look, he could say, "Don't look at the camera, man. Look over there and do your job." And I didn't want to get lectured.
Out of the
so.
corner of my eye, I can see him move around.
Well, I see him moving around, but I've only like looked at him twice. So
Uh-huh.
anyway, so he'll be here all day long. That means, you know what that means is that every time we order pizza, he gets some. That means every time we pour drinks, he gets some. And he gets all.
He's going to be here through the live stream tonight too.
Now that's. I think he's. I would
We need
imagine.
to set him up from some headphones so he can hear the calls.
He's definitely got to sit in with headphones, and
'Cause that's part
he's
of
got to
it.
set his cameras up and just let him run where he can just sit in here.
Because it's hilarious hearing
Yeah.
people call in.
It's going to be
Love
fun
it.
with that one. So
It's old school call in.
yeah, go ahead. What do you want?
All right, okay. There's two things I wanted to throw out there that are kind of current. I don't know if you want to add this, but Luigi and how that's gripping the nation, or Hawk 2 and her cryptocurrency.
Well,
We
just-
differ,
I actually-
we differ
Yeah.
on the
Hold on.
Luigi.
Hey, Briggs, come around here for a sec. Come
We
to like
differ
chair.
on Luigi.
It's a spot 6.
Here,
Take a
I'll
spot.
I
Which
got
one is the microphone that's on?
spot 5. Go to spot 5.
5? All right, 5 is on. It's funny you should ask about that, because we talked on a live stream about Luigi and his getting caught and stuff, and now he's spewing out his manifesto and everything. The Hawk 2 girl, and I know that it was. I don't know how Bitcoin works too much. I need stuff. My generation, physical things in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the kid.
Don't say I know a lot.
No.
Don't hype
was
me
gonna
up
say,
too much.
The kid had a take.
Yeah, I did.
All right, what do you got?
Trying to remember my take. We talked about this in passing the other day.
Well, you told me that they pulled the rug out. Some people
It's
do
a
it on.
rug pull. Yeah, so a lot of creators, whenever it's like, last ditch effort, your audience is failing, a lot of people will just do a rug pull, which is like you make a coin, a ton of people invest in it, but since you own, a lot of it's insider trading. Since you own a lot of it, say you own 90% of it,
Right.
all these people invest. Your 90% is through the roof.
Yeah.
You just sell it all immediately. And
Yeah.
it's a rug pull. So now anybody who invested is like, well, this sucks. Because like
You
now.
sell it off to the people that invested. You
Yeah.
get the cash. They get a fake coin that's not worth anything,
Yeah.
and you close down.
It's worth pennies.
You said that a guy, before we go to the Hawk 2 girl,
It was a kid.
slow down. You're talking
Okay.
too fast. Tell him what you told me about the kid and his 2 versions.
He's not
of
here.
kid.
He's not here.
Oh, he's not here.
Remember,
Yeah,
he's
Greg's
not here. Yeah. Okay. That's how you get it authentic. He's not here.
That's right. Greg's not here.
So there was this kid. I can't remember his name. Basically, he made. They call it. No, he's just a random guy. He didn't have a platform. Nothing.
Really? Okay.
And they call them meme coins because they're kind of just jokes most of the
Yeah.
time. So he made a coin. Ton of people invested in it. He immediately rug pulled it. He's like teenager, rug pulled it.
Oh, I think I heard about
He
this
made like
kid.
20 grand.
Yeah.
And then he had like a small YouTube following.
And people got
And he
pissed.
goes, yeah, and he's like, oh, people are so mad at me. He made Sorry coin.
So after that, he makes one
He
called
He
Sorry
doubles
Coin.
down.
He makes a Sorry
Double
coin.
down. Okay.
a ton of people invest. He rug pulls it anyway, and then he.
So it's kind of like that shame
Whoa,
on
whoa, whoa, whoa!
shame
We're
on
not done yet.
Oh,
We're not done. Yeah, same guy. Third coin. It's like he publicly says, "Don't buy this coin."
That's what the name of the coin was. Don't
So
buy
yeah,
my coin.
I think the coin's name or description was "Don't buy this,"
Okay.
and the third time, rug pulled it again. He made like 60 grand off of 3.
No, really?
Yeah.
That's an
So
entrepreneur.
now, so it's like con artist. What are you talking about? It's not business.
My wife is going. My wife is stroking her chin, going, business. It's a business opportunity, you say.
I'm trying to think. So if I did that, Mom's like, "Gosh, I know you just committed like a major crime, but man, you stole thousands of dollars from people. You
How is
little
it a major
entrepreneur.
crime?
You're stealing. You're stealing
She
money."
rubs your
Why would
head.
it be because
I don't know the exact
the
laws. I don't know
stupid
enough about
people are the ones
crypto.
that invested the money.
Mom rubs your head. That's my little entrepreneur.
My orange jumpsuit. Oh, entrepreneur. See you in 6 months.
I'll bring you hot meals to jail.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
You bake a cake with a
Yeah.
file.
So with the Hawk Tua coin, with Haley Welsh's coin, I don't think she actually did. I think she just had a team she was working with.
yeah, I
Of course
can't
she
see
did.
her doing
But,
any
like,
of this stuff.
So obviously you got to look at both sides of the story here.
Right.
On her side defense, when you go to buy the coin, there's screenshots saying 95% of this coin is owned by insider trading. Like, be careful with the
Yeah.
site they're on.
Very upfront about it.
Yeah, they're very upfront about it. So, and the reason why so many people invest in stuff like that is because they think, I know it's gonna be a rug pull, but I'm not gonna get rug pulled. I'm gonna go along with the rug pull.
Everybody thinks that.
Everybody thinks that. Yeah, they sell it all. It's literally a rug pull. They sell it all in like the matter of 10 minutes. So if you're not watching it,
Yeah.
and even if you did, like you're still could lose money
Well, they
that
said
way.
I glanced at one of the highlights or the headlines on the Hawk Tua girl one, and you're right. It was a team of people. I mean, she didn't do this.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we're going to put your face on this and do it. And she's like, okay. $94 million is what it went up to, and then it was worth $4 million. So everybody who invested $94 million, now they all have to split $4 million. So everybody lost everything on it, and she got a cut of hers. So she scored bank.
Yeah.
And as long as, like you say, the disclaimers are out there, I'm telling you, even with your story you told about that guy, that they could have things. This is a lie. This is wrong. This is dumb. You're going to lose all your money. If you click yes, people are going to click yes.
Another thing is that she is like nationally, internationally known for
Right.
like, and she still had a lot of popularity when this happened.
That's why they put her
And
face on it. Yeah.
exactly. So like Mark Cuban, he was one of the insider traders.
Wow.
Like there's a lot of people who invested into this coin.
Well, they
who-
knew. Those guys.
You
knew
never
they were-
know. They probably did.
Those are
Like,
the insiders that like, okay, I'm going to be one of. I'm going to make a lot of. I see what you guys are doing here.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there, sell it, and take my stuff out. He was part of the crash. Tell everybody what. Tell the guy who's not here, and the camera that's not here. Tell him about that kid who was the richest guy in the world for like half an hour.
Oh yeah, no, there's this guy, this YouTuber. I can't remember his name. I wish I knew. He makes YouTube shorts and like longer videos, and he became the richest guy in the world for 30 seconds. He's in England, and basically what he did was he made a company, an LLC called Money Unlimited Limited, and he sat out on the street for like 4 hours trying to get somebody to buy a share of his company for $50. And eventually a lady came up and she was like, "Oh, I think I know you. Like, yeah, sure, I'll join in, like, get one for $50. Sells it. So now one share has been sold for $50. So he's like, I'm going to issue 1 billion shares of my company. So now technically, since one sold for $50, they all can sell for $50. He talked with an accountant. He's like, "Is this legal?" And he's like, "No, it's not legal at all. Technically, your net worth is $50 billion, but you need to shut down your company right now." Like, but for 30 seconds, he became
Yeah, he had to unwind the whole thing real fast. But if you sold
funny.
at $50 a share and he sells 1 billion shares,
yeah.
you know, you got more money than Elon Musk and everybody else. What if you sell 100 billion or 200 billion or 300 billion?
Oh
He
my
just had to
God.
issue as many shares as he wants. Technically, since he sold one, he literally sold one for $50. They all can be sold for that. He also became a part of the royal family in England because he found some distant person that was a dude,
Oh, I heard
and
about
then
that guy.
he like got married to that guy, and then he was like, "All right, time to get a divorce." And it's like technically, since it's part of the royal family, can't get a divorce for a year.
That's
So he's like married to this dude for a year for no reason.
if you're investing in the stock market and you lose everything, and your broker comes back, they give you a little speech. Well, I'm sorry, you invested in, textile junk bonds, and the junk bond market didn't work out. You had to kind of expect that. And, we have to accept that. It's part of money. It's part of investing. It's part of society. How come that only works one way? No, I'm not. How come when the IRS comes knocking on my door and says, you owe us $36,000, I can't go, well, you invested in Gen X Talks junk bonds, and it didn't pan out for you guys.
That's right.
All right, thank you for the investment, America. The IRS, the junk bonds didn't work out. We'll try again next year. Well, when the IRS comes and asks, look, we had all this money, you say, well, I know. You invested in the wrong guy. We had a bad year. Thanks. If we do well,
we're gonna make some moves in the off season. We're gonna.
If Gen X Talks is the general, is the Gen X Ed, if I do well next year, I'll be more happy to pay you some taxes. But I'm sorry. Right. Can I do that with the IRS? Can I say, it's really a locker room problem?
That's right.
We need a manager.
We got great players. We just need more leadership at the helm.
That's right. So we hired Greg Gutfeld to come in and do some behind the scenes to really get to the root of the behind the scenes problem. We got Greg in here. He's going to solve the issues for us.
That's right.
He's going to report back and go, here's your locker room issues. Here's where everything's going off the rails. Thank you guys for tuning in. Not sure where you're listening in from around the planet, AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you tuned in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember two things in life. Number one, wherever you go, well, there you are. And number two, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'm out.
Bye. Have a good day. Are we still on the radio?
We are still on the butt. Let me see if it's still broadcasting. That turned out to be an hour and 40 minutes. I can't believe you started it off so fucking raunchy. That was horrible of you.
It just popped into my brain. I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to edit that out. I cannot leave that in for
That's
everybody.
Fine. You do that.
I'm going to take that out of there.
I have to keep my, my angel queen status.
Your image. Yeah, you have an image to maintain. All right, so although you know what that would be good for, the video portion of that, or the audio would be good for the $5 club.
Whatever you want to do.
$5 club on Patreon. They pay $5 a month
for my raunchy mouth.
For you. I don't like the way you said that either.
What Gen X mom is behind the scenes.
Yeah. You pay $5.
The real Gen X mom.
Yeah. Gen X mom after dark, as they say.
That's right. Gen X mom after.
Signing off. We're out of here. We got to go. Thank you guys for listening in on the broadcast. Use this tool. We done now?
Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We're out. And it should go back to music now.
Can I get a picture of you two and Matt out front? Oh, is Max in the way? He's gonna try and get that.
Yeah, we use Premiere Rush because Premiere Pro is like takes a lot. Like I learned the basics of Premiere Pro, but we don't really need to do all that.
Alright. Honey, you gotta give me a moment. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's that
Oh,
scowl.
yeah, there it is. All right, Mark. So you go by the General. How did you get this nickname?
It's a drunken name. We were doing a live stream. We're doing live streams at night. And I used to drink heavily during the live streams, till people would call and go, "You need to." They'd call Mary and go, "You need to unplug him. He's slurring his words, and he's gonna start saying he shouldn't."
Yeah.
And it was common. We would do 2 or 3, 4 shows a week. One night, I guess we were drinking, and I actually had to go back and watch it to see what I said, because I couldn't remember all of it. But what happened was, one night we were talking. This is back when we only had one moderator, Allie from Boston. She was there that night, and somebody said, "Oh, you got quite a following, and and it's Gen X Talks." And I say, "Well," somebody said, "Yeah, we're Generation X. We're Gen X Talks. You guys are like a cult. It's a cult following." Yeah, so of course we're drinking, and then I go, "Yeah, the cult following. Yeah, the cult. Yeah, whatever." And someone says, "Well, if you're Generation X, you guys are a bunch of extras. No E, just extra."
Yeah.
So that's the cult. We're a bunch of extras with just XTRA. Then we're all like, yeah, extras, and we're drinking, and everyone's doing the same thing. People are fat finger typing because they're drinking too. Someone says, "Oh, we're a legion of X. We're a legion of extras, and we're the extras." And, "Oh yeah, Legion of X. We're Legion. Yeah, that's what we are." Then someone said, "Oh, you need a leader. You're the leader, but we gotta get leaders. Got to have a name." And so they called me General X. And I was like, "Yeah, General X." And no one raised the glass real high to that one. General X. Didn't flow right. So then someone said, "Just call him the General. General X. Generation X.
Yeah.
The General. I'm the General. They're the extras. It all fits now. Okay. So that's what it was. One night, we didn't think much of it. The next night that we do a show, everyone in the comment section says, "Good evening, General. How you doing, General?" And I'm like, "Why the f*** is everybody calling me General?"
Just manifested that way.
I'm like, why are they calling me the General? I'm like, well, because you said. I said that. Well, no, they said, and you just agreed to it.
Yeah.
And it just stuck. It wasn't planned. It's not deserved. It's an honorary title at best, and it was just something that came from a couple of nights in a row of people drinking and making stuff up, and we ended up with the General. And that's it. That's not a very exciting story, but that's how it happened. So.
And you're obviously known for a lot of the F-bombs that you're throwing around. You get demonetized for those?
All the time, yeah. Yeah, the kid, he even made a couple videos about talking like that. I don't know. They're even worse now. I mean, just if you want to know the truth, a month ago, when you post a video, there's sections that you have to rate your own video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, does it have a little bit of cussing, a lot of cussing? Does it talk about minorities? Does it talk about political situations? You got to go through this checklist, and that's on YouTube. But it used to be like it was the rule of thumb was, well, if you just drop the occasional F-bomb, well, it's okay. Then they tightened it up last year. They said, you can't say the F word in your titles, your descriptions, or your pictures, and you can't say the F word in the first 7 seconds.
Interesting.
Of your video. That was like a hard, fast rule. So, the kid says, look, if I grab a camera and start filming you, try to remember not to cuss at me for 10 seconds. That was one of his deals. And then they, without telling anybody, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, they updated their policies, and they're very vague updates. But you learn pretty quick. Now you can't, if you do anything, you get the yellow tag on there for a little yellow, your little money symbol. Yeah. And what did you get? $13 for a live stream? You get $13, so who cares? All of this is where people think he's rich. On YouTube, he could put out 30 brand new fun videos, get hundreds of thousands of views. He'll get $400 for all of them.
Wow.
I think a good month is $500 for the entire month of filming 30 shorts and editing it. That's a ton of work.
It is.
It doesn't come out to any money per hour at all. It does build his channel. It does create more of a following, but there's hardly any money in it.
Right.
So when you start getting dinged and you're already not getting much and they're dinging half your videos, he gets really upset. He's like, God, I'm not making anything anyway. So they changed the rule now. If you have any cuss words at all in there, they demonetize you pretty quick.
Yeah.
And there's really no appealing it. You just, don't say it. Right. And they're squashing. They did during the election year. They really squashed down conservative channels. All of them still did that. It wasn't as bad as it was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
But it was still they don't notify your fans, when you're going live. We always get people saying, oh, Facebook didn't even tell me you were going live. YouTube didn't even notify me. We never got the notification. That's common, heavier during an election year. And right now, even though the pendulum in society is swinging back the other way, like Trump's back in office, we can say things, we can do things, we can all act normal now.
Yeah.
That it's still, you can see Meta is actually moving towards letting you do more stuff.
That's great.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah.
But they are. YouTube and Google are actually clamping down a little bit. And that's their business model, it's their gig, but we see it on our end because we're in it every single day.
Yeah.
You kind of get to check the temperature all the time, what's going on.
Right.
So yeah, cussing is a big thing now. He actually, last few videos, he bleeps it out.
Okay.
And if you bleep it out, you're fine. And
right.
It seems to still be, the message still seems to be getting across.
Right.
But he's been bleeping stuff out. It's kind of comedy. It's kind of funny when he does it. And it falls within YouTube's guidelines.
Right.
So.
You just use a car horn or
just got to do something to keep it going. And
right.
and it's constantly, and I think a lot of creators would tell you this. My son constantly is finding himself adapting to a new strategy to what platforms are demanding you do.
Yeah.
They always change. They always screw things up. They always turn things around and and you constantly have to keep. You're going to keep even if you weren't talking money.
Mm-hmm.
You're just trying to keep your audience, your viewership, your followers. You have to change, or your product won't get out there. So whatever he's doing, he's constantly got to adapt.
Right.
He's always got to find a new angle. He's got to try to decipher, why is this not working? Oh, they changed this. And once he discovers it, then he's got to go around and fix it.
Yeah.
It's just that's a dance, I think, that'll be till the end of time. I don't see that ever changing. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough on him, and so it's a lot of work.
Do you see your values and how you look at life? Do you see that in Briggs as he's getting older?
That's probably his strongest suit in life.
Yeah.
I've raised a lot of kids, 32 kids, and when you look at Briggs, there's some things that I would like to change about him as growing up as a young man, but there are things you can change. Mm-hmm. Let's say he's lazy. Let's say he's really f***ing lazy. You can change someone, or you can teach them to not be lazy.
Right.
You can guide them, you can punish them, you can reward them, you can modify that behavior. Try teaching a child to be kind. Try teaching a child to be loving, to treat animals, to care. Try teaching them to have some of those morals and values that you kind of grow up. They either get it, or they kind of develop those things. You try to guide and teach morals and values, but in the end, they kind of settle on where they're going to be as people. We all are.
Right.
Other things I can teach them. The things that I can't teach him, I'm very proud of what he's got. Those are things that, like, look, he'll figure out how not to be lazy. He'll figure out how to do this or not do. I got that. But the core things about him as a person, he gets from his mother. She's wonderful. He's wonderful, and he will be fine in life because those things are his core and his rock. The other stuff he can be taught, he can learn, he can mature. Those things are fine. But yeah, the things that I see from our family values that go from my grandfather to my parents to us are in him. And those are the things that even though parents can be upset when their children don't exactly follow, like, you're not doing what I wanted you to do, and you're not maturing or growing or doing. If you really take a second and pull back and look at your kids, the center of who they are, I think, like with Briggs, I think a lot of us would find out they're good kids.
Yeah.
Every person who runs across Briggs goes, he's a good kid. I mean, he is basically he was always a wonderful child, and he's becoming a solid young man in that respect. So that, I see those things, and they're really all that matters. The other stuff can be taught, can be learned. I'm very happy about that.
See, I find because now we have a daughter who's a Gen Alpha, so I'm getting what I learned from that generation that was really strict. Always tried to make sure you did the right things.
Right.
Don't just go out and do whatever you want, even though I was kind of a rebel kid.
Yeah.
But then I passed that along to our daughter. And, a lot of people will say Gen Z's screwed up and Gen Alpha's going to be worse. I don't think so.
No.
I think that they have an opportunity. They have a chance.
I think you're right. I mean, I've been paying, since Gen X Talks has been around, we have the opportunity to get our finger on the pulse of quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Just listening, just observing. You get an opportunity on this side of social media that you don't always get in other places. If you're just working at a truck stop, you're not going to get to that vibe of all these generations, and you really do with social media. You're exactly right. Millennials, extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. They're wedged, they were influenced by teachers and politics early on, and they're bred a certain way, and now they're all suffering for it. Mm-hmm. Gen Z, not so much. I have seen kids tell a teacher, can you stop talking about global warming? This is math. We're in a math class. I mean, I'll figure it out. And the teachers say, well, aren't you listening? I'm your teacher. I'm in part. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll take what you said. I'll go home. I'll figure it out on my own. I'll do some homework. I'll do some research. I'll figure out what I feel about global warming on my own. Mm-hmm. Or whatever the topic is. There was no leader. There was no underground organization like, okay, we have a leader, we have a website, we have a list of 10 things that we, as Gen Z, we all need to start doing this, challenge your teachers, and stand up. There was nothing. Right. There was no organization. This is just how that generation began to behave. On their own, they got tired of like what the millennials were going through. Okay, I got it. Quit telling us all this stuff. I'll figure it out on my own. I'm not interested. Can we do this? So you got millennials that absorbed every bit of it and believed it. Gen Z are kind of like the first generation going, I'll figure this out on my own. Now, to what you're saying with Alpha, is I don't have my finger on that pulse yet, but it's got to be way different. And if they're open to listening and following and learning, it'll just be one more example of that pendulum swinging.
Right.
I don't have any alphas here. I don't know what that's like, but I'm very encouraged when you say that you think it's different and there's a different opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
And I see it with my daughter and her friends.
That's really good news.
What is your demographic? Is it just Gen X, or are you trying to hit the younger audience as well?
Well, I don't think there's a target anybody's going for here. We just put stuff out there, and if you like it, you like it. I will say that all of older boomers and silent boomers and Gen X tend to really enjoy our stuff. Millennials, for the first, if you're born from like 81, 82, 83, really like our stuff. Millennials, 84, 85, 89, that they tend to be more, on their own category of like, these millennials go, can you change our name to Gen X? We hear that all the time.
Right.
We call them Zennials with an X.
Okay.
We get rid of the M. Yeah, you're a Zennial. You're a millennial with an X in front of it. And then they're kind of on their big numbers, though. There's a huge amount of population numbers there. They run up against Gen Z going, look, we're not saying we like Gen X. They're kind of to everybody, but we really don't like all the shit you're doing.
Right.
And Gen Z has kind of gone their own way. So when they look at us, we get a huge following from Gen X backwards. We get a chunk of the millennials, but then there's a big group of them that are completely against everything. They'll argue with us to no end at all. I've got a son who will argue just to argue with me about politics, about religion, about the society, and he's a millennial. He's never going to give in. It wouldn't matter if I won an argument, he'd move on to something else. He's part of that group that doesn't want anything to do with this. But the kid puts stuff out there, and whoever shows up, shows up. As the pendulum swings, I'm really hoping more Gen Z swings to the side of the fence that most of Gen X is on, which is just common sense. I'm not telling you what political affiliation you have. I don't care where you end up in your politics. Just use some common sense to get there, and I'll respect your decision. If you're going to blindly follow people like this group of millennials, and you're on your own. Right. And the way you're talking about alpha, it wouldn't surprise me if they go, yeah, those old geezers, they kind of got their head on straight about some stuff. And unfortunately, the millennials are now coming into power. That block of millennials that hates us are the ones that are getting into positions of power. They're getting some money. They've now bought a home. They're starting to be supervisors, managers, and owners of some things. I'm relying on the common sense of, well, good. Once you start having a mortgage and you're running a business, can you reevaluate your positions now?
The dinks, right?
Right. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, there's his target audience is whoever will listen. The biggest thing we see is that group that just absolutely hates us and turns us in and tries to get us taken down.
I think as we all get older, we all start becoming more nostalgic for what we miss. And I think at some point they will look, I even see comments in other YouTube videos, oh man, the 90s were so great. And I'm like, what? Let's talk about the 80s.
Well, and I think I do. I get nostalgic for the old times.
Yeah.
And there's always someone who comes in the comment section, oh, the 80s weren't, my son is a prime example. And I tell him Reagan was a good president and the 80s rocked. He'll bring me charts and graphs. Well, the inflation and unemployment and racism and he deliberately tries to dismantle it. When he's done, I go, I don't care what you f***ing say. I was there and I had a great time.
Yep.
And that's all I argue. Is like, I don't care. I don't care what you say. Oh, you don't care about facts. No, I really don't. Because I was there and it was great. Just one thing I brought up, and I'm sure other people have brought it up too, but this popped into my dumb brain. Last year we were talking about racism, how it's so dividing right now, and I thought, it was transgendered, homosexuals, and racism, and all these things that are these button issues now, and I went, it was about 1994, 93. I don't think anybody even cared anymore. There wasn't. You're always going to have assholes that say and do things they shouldn't. They'll beat up a trans person, or there's going to be incidents, and when you find those guys, you kick the shit out of them and say, behave. We all should be equal. Behave normally. Other than that, that asshole who's acting incorrectly, they're talking about systemic racism and on and on. Do you even remember back in the 90s was homosexuality a taboo subject anymore? Mid-90s, like, I don't care anymore. It might have been in the 70s and the early 80s. By the time the mid-90s, nobody cared. It's like, you're trans, so what? Well, you're black, you're Mexican, you're white, so what? I'm telling you that by the 90s, we kind of worked through it. Nobody cared anymore. We'd all kind of just gone, all right, we all getting it now. We're all getting along, except for there's pockets. Some asshole's going to see this and go, well, there was an incident in Illinois where some, black trans... Okay, fun fact, Freddie. You found an example, but that's not how the nation was.
Right.
Everybody was kind of like, all right, we're past all that. Liberals brought it up and saying, do you know it's racism? It's racism. Oh, it is? Morgan Freeman said it best.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get rid of racism, quit talking about it.
Quit talking about it.
But so the opposite of that is, if you want to keep racism alive, keep talking about it. That's the opposite. And all they did was just bring it back. They brought it back, and now we're where we are. And everybody says, "Oh, it's so much worse, and it's terrible, and it's horrible." And I'm like, okay, first of all, we'd kind of gotten away from it. Nobody cared anymore. And you guys did this. You guys made this. Like, no, it's been getting worse the whole time. And I confronted a dude one time, and I said, "So you're saying that your parents, your aunts and uncles, and your grandparents that fought for the civil rights movement, that got beaten and killed and in jail, and that was a big turning point in America, the civil rights movement, and they stood up for something that needed to be stood up for, made the changes. You're saying that was all for nothing, that your parents and grandparents were a bunch of assholes who just, what were they just doing out there to be on TV? No, they were doing as important." I said, "No, according to you, things are worse after what they did. I say they did a good thing, and from the 60s, by the 90s, things had mellowed out. Now they're worse now because of you guys. This was a great event that 30 years later had kind of evened itself out. You guys are saying, oh, every decade's been getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And if that's true, then all they did was for nothing."
Yep.
So pick a story and stick to it.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. I'm telling you, I lived through it. And that's the problem with saying, you could say, well, the 80s were a great decade. Some asshole will go find 12 news stories that were horrible events and go, oh, this is what you want to go back to. No, I don't want to go back to those 12 stories. I want to go back to the whole thing. You could say, you know, the 50s were a wonderful time in America. The war was over and prosperity. Oh, you want to go back to segregation. No, that was a bad part. But overall, the 50s were really an expansive time and everybody was moving forward. Well, maybe for you, but not for black people, not for Indians, not for... Okay, you know, you can find something wrong with every decade if you want to. Right. I guess we're just a shitty country that's been shitty every decade. No decade has ever been good, and even the one we're in now is shitty too. You can find examples along the way, and it's not hard to do. So that's what if you're arguing with someone who you tell them something was great, and they go, "What about this?" They're an asshole. They're not trying to solve a problem. They're trying to keep alive the racism and prove that everything's up and it always has been. They're never going to allow anybody to go forward. I keep saying the 50s were a great time, and there were some things that needed to get fixed because America is a great country. It's capable of great change, and it's always going to have problems, and it's always going to be improving. And when we find something that's up, we work on it, we fix it, and we move on. And then what about that? Yeah, we'll work on that, we'll move on. And there's problems right now, and we're working on those. But that's part of what makes America great, is that we figure out some of the injustices, and we can correct it, we fix it. Women can vote. Everybody's equal, you know. It doesn't matter what religion you are, what color. We got to that point, but there's a group of people that don't like that. They do the opposite of what Morgan Freeman said, and they keep talking about it. They keep the division alive. But what happened with that when, what was that dude's name who just got on the subway?
Penny?
Penny.
Yeah.
And they had the press conference outside, and we have to rise up, and we have to do something, and we have to fight back. It wasn't just police, it was people going, shut the f*** up.
Yep, squashed it.
They squashed it and go, we're done. You can have your opinion, say that, but you're not going to burn down the cities again, you assholes. Yeah. We're not doing that. And we're moving on. People aren't even talking about it anymore. They're not talking about him. They're not talking about the trial. They're not talking about what Black Lives Matter burned down. We're not, because it didn't happen. In that respect, America's like, we got it. We're figuring out. We're moving on.
Great point.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. What do I know? I'm just a dumb mechanic in the middle of the desert.
No, not at all.
That's how I feel about the scope of what you asked.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on that real quick. So you were a mechanic.
Yeah.
And now you're in radio. How did you transition like that?
Well, the working on cars thing, you get into a 4-hour conversation. It was time for me to stop working on cars. I was just done dealing with the public in California. There's too many professional customers, and I don't like that. And I told my wife, I said, well, she said, well, are we in a position where we could like the buildings that we do have, can we rent them out and still survive? And I went, well, barely. We could pay the bills and do it. And she goes, well, come home. So we kind of came home and just rented out the buildings, and it pays some of the bills and does other things like that. And then I was home for, that was at 2014 or 17, I don't remember, somewhere there. And it was shortly after that, a couple years after that, TikTok came out, and the kid was trying his TikTok thing.
Right.
And he was doing all of the whole thing and no money at all, just trying to be famous and do his thing. And then it turned into Gen X Talks. And I remember Briggs came to me one time, and I asked him, I said, well, how come you're just on TikTok? Doesn't YouTube do some of this? And, you know, by then TikTok had been so famous, YouTube says, we got to do TikToks.
Right.
They had to come up with YouTube Shorts.
Shorts.
Facebook says, we got to do Reels. I mean, they knew they were missing something big there. So they adapted, and they took their part of it. And they were offering money to get people to come over. Like, put your Reels over here. And if you do so many videos and so many views, we'll give you... There was goals in mind. Like, if you did this, you got $500. And if you got to this number, 10 videos with this many, then we'll give you $1,000. It was quite a bit of money. And Briggs was moving stuff around and trying. I said, look, I'm home now. I'm not doing anything, you know. And I kind of get acting and radio and video. I kind of get that angle. So what can I help you do some of the stuff here? And he's like, yeah, get all the videos and put them on YouTube. Get them all and transfer, copy, paste, up. I mean, I got that part of it. It's just, that's just data. And so all of a sudden then he grew the brand. We got some logos, and we're like, now we're on all the platforms, and the ones that are starting to pay to get you over there, they're paying a little bit, and we're responding to comments. So you're like, oh, I can respond to comments and say, you know, I can type, go f*** yourself, you're an idiot, you know what you're talking about. Or I can say thank you, you know, It's hard for me, but I do say thank you. And it just kind of grew to where we became busy doing all the things that he wanted to spread out and do, because there were just too many platforms, too many videos, and too many channels. And then on the Facebook side, the page that he had set up was just the short videos. Well, that was when nostalgia pages really came into pictures of burning hot slides and merry-go-rounds and people wearing members-only jackets. But he couldn't do any of that. First of all, he wasn't there. He didn't know. Yep. And he didn't have time, and he was still in school. So his mother says, well, I'll do the Facebook pages. I'll just get the pictures and post pictures up there. I'll steal them from other pages, or I'll make some of my own, and, you know, what everybody does. So then she became busy. That's when it started to transform into something like, okay, this is now a job. We all have to do some things here to help out. And there was a lot of things that the kid tried that didn't work. He would try something, and I'd say, look, if you want to make a change and do something, try it for 4 or 5 months. Don't just try it for a week, and if it doesn't, give it. You try something, I'm with you. He says, well, I want to buy another computer for gaming. I want to do Gen X Talks gaming. He goes, Dad, would you drink and get drunk and play Halo once in a while? And then we did some of that. It didn't pan out, but he tried it. So there's been a few things that he's tried that didn't stick, but there's been a lot of things he's tried that did stick. Yeah. And they did resonate, and they did get an audience, and they did get people involved. So he's got rid of the things that didn't work. He's kept the things that did work, and just tries to improve them. You know, he tries to keep the core things going, and when new stuff comes up, we try to do it. The live streams were another one, and the radio station was another one. That was my wife's idea, to do the radio station, which we really haven't done. It's got songs on there you can listen for free. It's got 1,000 Gen X songs on there, and it's fun to listen to, but it could be so much more as a radio station. Right. We haven't got there yet, but it's functioning, and it's out there, and it works. And then you start we didn't do anything with sponsors or advertisers or anything for 3 years, and they're always knocking on his door.
Yeah. So you guys have sponsors?
Well, kind of. We did this almost 4 years now. For 3.5 years, we just said no to everybody. Like, we're not interested in your money. Yeah. Don't tell us what to do, what to say. We don't even know what we're doing yet. Leave us alone. 6 months ago, we're like, okay, what is a sponsorship? How does that work? Mm-hmm. What do you have to do? And we were able to take in, and I think one of the reasons, because we're not the biggest channel by far. We're not even close. There's so many more famous, bigger channels. Even in the Gen X genre, there's probably a number 1 tier of Gen Xers with channels. We're probably a 2 or a 3 tier. We're not even in the top echelon of Gen X channels on platforms. But the kid has built something that's different from everybody else's when advertisers look at it, because I didn't know this until an advertiser came to me and says, well, if I want to be on a TikTok, or I want to be on one of your shorts or one of your reels, I can go to someone and say, hey, how much money to make a short, a reel, a TikTok, and they give them a price, and they do it. And if they go to other guys and say, I want to be part of your podcast. Mm-hmm. How much to be part of your podcast? Can I sponsor your podcast? Can we put my name, my logo? But these guys come to us and go, you guys do everything pretty well. You're not number one at anything, but everything you do is a number 2 or a 3. I can go to you and say, I want to be on your reels. Oh, can I get on your podcast? Oh, you do live streams too. You have a radio station. Oh, you do contests. Oh, you do other weird things. And they can be part of all that. We can add those things in and say, well, if you want to pay us to be part of, sponsor this stuff. Where this advertisers have told me, when I go to someone and say, hey, can I be part of your reels? And they work out a thing to be part of their reels. Hey, how about if I get in on your live streams? And they say, well, we don't do live streams. We just do videos. Or they go to someone who does podcasting. Hey, I'd like to be part of your podcast. Hey, the next time you throw some 1-minute TikToks out there, can I be? Well, we don't do those. We just do podcasting. Mm-hmm. And it dawned on me that he's built something. Maybe he's not the number 1 at any of those things. He's not a top tier on that, but he's a number 2 or 3 at 4 or 5 different things. They all have different audiences. People who watch his shorts don't listen to his podcast, but the audience that listens to his podcast, they may not watch the live streams. It's a lot of work to keep all that going, but he's like I said, this goes back to getting rid of the things that don't work, keeping the things that do work. Mm-hmm. Now you have something. Now you have a brand and a product that now advertisers would come to us and say, well, how much to do some of this and some of that. They can pick and choose what they want to do. We've had some bad experiences with sponsors that didn't work out, that I was very angry about, but we've had some people that have been super helpful and wonderful to work with. Marcus from Zippix Nicotine Sticks, the guy loves the program. He's like, let's just do something together. Let's make some stuff, and he wants to be part of whatever it is. Grant from TorqueStrap hasn't spent $1 with us on his company TorqueStrap, but he has been instrumental in, here's how you guys should change some of what you're doing to be more attractive to advertisers and sponsors. As a company, I would be looking for this, and we've changed some of those things per his suggestion, and it's worked out. We do a lot of listening, and Briggs is good about seeing what's working, what's not, and then all 3 of us are good about listening to. I'm not doing anything with those people. You kind of get a feeling, your gut instinct on it, and we've learned that. We shut everything off about a month ago and said no more advertising, no more sponsors, don't need a phone call. Just now we're kind of opening that door again, because we kind of got all caught up in that part of it, and our brand started to suffer. We weren't paying attention to what we're supposed to do. So right now we're just kind of getting back. I'm keeping one thing like Zippix. I'm going to talk to Marcus about doing some stuff with him over the next 2 months. Nobody else. I just wanted, because he's such a great guy. And everything else, we're just concentrating on the brand up until we move to Dayton.
You guys, both of you, were on Chris Cuomo. How'd that go? How'd you think about that?
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
it was great. We got a lot of flack. A lot of people quit watching because we were on his show.
Really?
Briggs and Mark Mendenhall join me right now. That was their first video, by the way. And, it blew up. And I think everybody should check out what they're doing. First of all, Briggs, nice to meet you. Well done with what you're doing. And big man, I got to tell you, I just want to say thank you. You're funny. You are so real, and I think it is really helpful. So, whose idea was this?
I appreciate that, Chris.
It was my idea, actually. All my dad's friends think he's funny and stuff like that. So, why couldn't I share it with more people just like him? So, it's...
Mark, you seem unhappy even now. So you aren't acting, I take it. You are just, generally distressed.
He tried to be TikTok famous when it came out. It didn't work, so he comes up with this scheme. So we'd already seen him walking around the house with that camera for months and months and months. It wasn't a shock when he started trying to get me to answer questions. I knew what he was doing, but what a dumb thing. Who wants to hear me yell at my kid for the stuff that everybody, Chris, we're all thinking the same things on stuff. We're all acting the same way, our generation. Why on earth would he want to pass that around? Everybody who sees at my age goes, yep, I already say that stuff.
But first, let's look at a clip of what they do, which I believe is just magic.
My friends and I were telling you stories.
Oh, I know. Oh, believe me, I know your stupid stories. Let's just say today's reason is epic.
Today's reason is epic.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything epic about this.
No, there's not. There's nothing epic about today. There's nothing epic about your stories, but that's the word you use. Everything you say is epic. The guy's car was epic. His skateboarding kickflips were epic. We had onion rings at this place. They were epic. You guys use epic like a comma.
Yeah, come on.
I can't force you to not talk like a moron, and you can't force me to listen to one. Go back with your epic friends and have an epic day. Go. You got to leave me alone, man.
That conversation we just had was not epic.
Out.
I just love it, and everyone I show it to. What are you so grumpy about, big brother? You are doing a service, and you're funny. Oh, that's not cool. That like he thinks everything's got to be tough. I said, but that's the way we were raised. This is how we feel. Is that there is just something different about these kids, and this time it's our fault. It's not like it was with our generation where we were just trying to survive our parents. Now we made them like this, Mark. What do you think of your father's perspective?
Hey, to be fair with you, I agree with like 75% of what he says. Like I do say some antagonizing questions to poke the bear because, as you know, he's funny when he starts getting riled up.
Well,
so
what's with the other 25? You just wrong? What does that mean? What have you seen? 25% of what I say is not right?
You say you've never been wrong before?
Not with you.
Yeah, you have.
You've been on this planet 5 minutes compared to me. 5 minutes. Don't
5
tell
minutes
me.
and I already know 25% of what you say is wrong.
Oh, can't wait for us to be off camera. You give me 5 seconds.
I got a little spin the wheel on how many times you're wrong.
Okay, yeah. You see, Chris? Do you see what I'm talking about? This all day long. He didn't script this. This is just him. I finally had to go on and tell our viewers, I forget whether we did it in a video or short or something where everybody could see it, and I basically said, you know, you guys can go yourselves. I said, Chris came to us. I didn't pound his door and go, can I please be on your show?
Right.
Chris came to, and it wasn't even politics. Chris Cuomo just said, look, it's not, I just like Gen X Talks. You guys are funny. I want you on the show to talk about your show and Gen X Talks. That's all it was. So who cares if I'm conservative and he's liberal?
Yeah.
What did it matter if I was Republican and he was Democrat? We talked about Gen X Talks.
Right.
And everybody gave a no, I'm unsubscribing from you guys because you shouldn't have done that with him. It's like, off. And I brought an example. I in the video, I said, you know, Ronald Reagan took a $1,000 donation from a gay and lesbian coalition, and immediately people jumped, oh, well, we're not following you anymore. I can't believe you took that. Ronald Reagan looked him in the eye and said, when they gave me the $1,000, they were signing on to my agenda. I wasn't signing on to theirs. Chris was signing on to Gen X Talks. Chris was just saying, I like what you guys are doing. It's funny. That's all he said. That's why we went on. That's how I explained it. I said, if you guys want to leave because that off, I don't care. That just, and I use that opportunity to point out, see, this is the difference in you assholes today. Back in my day, nobody cared what your politics were.
Nope. Didn't care.
Didn't matter. It's like, that's the last thing you told somebody was, I'm married, I work at the post office, I drive a Buick, I've got 2 kids, my dog's name is Roger, and, you know, I live in Van Nuys, and I'm in debt, and my wife's a bitch, and she hates me. Her sister's worse, though, so we're okay there. Oh, and I'm a Republican, or whatever.
Right.
Nobody, that was like the last thing, and nobody even cared. Now, it's the first thing, and it decides if we can even be friends or not.
Yeah.
That's how f***ed up liberal polarization and the opposite of Morgan Freeman talking about issues puts it out there in a way that doesn't squash it, it makes it worse.
Right.
And
If
where we are.
if I put on a Make America Great Again hat and I walk around, I know I'm going to get stared at.
Yeah.
It's just
you're going to get handshakes.
Just a hat.
You're going to get handshakes, and you're going to get cans of beans thrown at you.
Yep.
That's it. That's it. Again, nobody asked me.
I did, and I agree with you.
Well, nobody who's making these decisions asked me.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of asking, I'm going to ask Briggs over here. We're going to find... So, do you see any of the things, advice that your dad has given you as you're getting older? Do you see any of that in yourself?
No. I'm joking. No. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't see eye to eye on everything we talk about or do, but a lot of his advice has helped me in a lot of things I've done. like working another job and, you know, moving out for a little bit. So it's always helped me.
Yeah.
Some of the advice I don't take to heart than I should, and then I realize too late. But, you know, I appreciate, because I know deep down whatever he's trying to tell me is just for the better of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
exactly.
That's something I always try to keep in my head whenever even when I'm mad or something like that. So.
And I had asked you this earlier off camera. I'll ask you again. So, who do you watch on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
So people can kind of get a glimpse of what Briggs watches.
So like I was telling you, I watch a lot of commentary YouTube. So like Moist Critical. I watch a lot of like Tom Dark, and like I said, it's a mix of a lot of things. Like a lot of popular. Because whenever I go to YouTube, I'm not looking for a specific YouTuber all the time. I'm looking for just an interesting video.
Right. Stuff that pops up in your feed. You're like, oh, whoa, what's that?
Yeah, what pops up when I recommended that I might find somebody that like I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So right now it's a lot of just commentary YouTube and some gaming of whatever game I'm playing. Like right now I'm playing a lot of Halo, so watching some Halo videos. Or like if my friends and I are all playing Marvel Rivals, which just came out, we're going to watch Marvel Rival videos. Like it's just how it is. It's always an ebb and flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's this guy that does these behind the scenes things called Leave It to Baker. And you should.
I've never seen him.
Yeah, you should watch that guy.
Leave It to Baker. I gotta check it out. Yeah.
Little panel cartoon says secretary comes in.
Oh my
I know
god!
that guy.
I thought you're Greg. What are you talking about? But yeah, no, I definitely gotta check out your video.
Well, you'll definitely see this on there. All right, so now we're gonna probably go in. We're gonna check up on Mary, see what she's doing. What is she doing right now?
She's in her office pretending to do work.
All right.
All she's doing is on Amazon f***ing around trying to put stuff in the basket that I'll buy accidentally.
I'll make an announcement before I come in. I don't want to sneak up on her. All right, here we go.
Doing nothing but just sitting there drinking wine and on the f***ing internet with my credit card.
All right, guys. Hey, we've moved on. We're now inside of Mark and Mary's house. This is Mary's office. We're going to kind of take a look at what she's doing here. In fact, I had mentioned something about branding and doing merch, which I eventually am going to have to do.
So this is my shipping center.
All right.
I ship from here. This is a one-woman thing here. T-shirt machine, T-shirt, heat press. I can do like decals, or I don't know what they're called, like for T-shirts that come out of that big huge printer right there.
Okay.
Lots of different items that I can use for different things. Yeah, this is my office desk. That's pretty clean today, actually.
It looks clean.
Then more stuff to make mugs, and I craft and stuff too. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything for Gen X Talks. I get my own emails. I answer my own emails. I post from here because I do mostly the posting for Facebook pages and Instagram.
Okay.
So I will sit here and do that. Oh, and then X or Twitter or whatever. I cover that. I'll sit here and answer comments. We do all our commenting ourselves. Like we talk... always like something. We do it all in-house.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and we respond. So between myself and Mark and Briggs, we try to cover all the platforms as much as possible. So I could sit here for hours and do that. As much as I don't like being on my phone, I'm on my phone. And then when I ship from here and then go to the UPS store and send out. Plus I do all my household stuff here. I mean, all the bill paying and stuff. So I'm constantly multitasking.
So you're on, obviously, YouTube, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
2 Facebook pages.
Facebook, forgot that. Facebook.
Is that it? I think I've covered them all.
I think so. Do you guys broadcast in other languages too?
We've tapped in that a little bit. That's like a whole nother, we need a whole nother person to do that.
Right.
Because now you're talking about uploading videos and sticking them, you have to translate it. We've gone to VidCon every year for the last 4 years, and we've talked to them about it. It's a big, if you talk to really big creators, they do that. Yeah. And it can generate more money for you if you do it that way. But we need another person to just sit and do that all the time. But we haven't branched out that far. But we've talked about it.
Oh,
I think they even have one. I think Briggs started a Gen X Talk Espanol channel.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But it hasn't taken off. Plus, again, it takes time to upload all those videos there.
Yeah. So. In fact, I'm thinking of going to VidCon this year.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You get some inside. Mark has run into some of the big guys from YouTube there. and has like cornered them out in the hallway after your little, 45-minute talk and goes, what about this? And had like a one-on-one with them.
Yeah.
And new Gen X talks, like they've heard of it.
Right.
And so they, Mark was able to ask him some insider questions and stuff about certain things. So yeah, VidCon's really good. The first year we went for like 2 days, but it's more like the first 2 days are like the best days to go.
Yeah, isn't
Lots
it
of
that
workshops.
Saturday or something is the best day? Or
That's really the public. Most of the workshops are during the week.
Oh, okay.
And you get to pick and choose which workshops you want to go to. And they vary from all different kinds of things. But we like it. So we usually get as many of our staff there, and then we branch out, kind of like camp. Like you go to that course, we'll go to this course, you go to that one, and then we'll meet and like discuss things. So yeah, so I do mostly the live streaming and orders. And orders for us, I really want to build that merchandise. That would be a really good thing. We're moving.
Right.
We're moving to a different state, so I have to pack this whole house up, and so I might hinder that a little bit till we land somewhere, because we don't know what the future holds right now. But yeah, that's something on my bucket list to finish, is to get the merchandise. Even if I can get maybe 5 things up there, that would be great. So we'll see. I started off being behind the scenes. I didn't want to be on camera.
Yeah.
Like, if you notice, I'm not in many videos.
Yeah.
I said no. I told Burger no. I am not doing that. I am not as quick with the comments and stuff as Mark. So I said, no, I'll help you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because he came to me and asked me if I do merchandise and stuff. So I said, yeah. But yeah,
gotcha.
I'm just not, no, it's just not my thing. I think Mark and I bounce off each other better when we're together.
Yeah.
Talking. Most of like the podcast, that's pretty much us sitting down and just kind of talking about, like, over a cup of coffee. That's how we view it, is just having a sit down. So you're getting a real life banter back and forth of the two of us. And we do that in the car while we're traveling. Mm-hmm. I'll just bring up something like whatever's happening in the world, go, what do you think about this? What's your take on it? Because, as a husband and wife, you may be 2 totally different sides of the story.
I know that.
And it can make a great discussion, and it's not, we don't sit there and go, well, I'm firmly going to be this, and we don't say that. Then we listen to each other and go, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, you get a whole new perspective on things. So the podcast is kind of that, is like just us sitting and talking and discussing things about life. And it's taken off, and people love it. It's crazy. It's bunker branding.
Yes.
Very cool. So have you looked into them at all?
I've gone onto the website. I've taken a look at what they have. I haven't reached out to them yet.
Okay.
It's just, for me, it's almost like there's a process. Okay, Matt, build your channel more before you start having merch. Now, I'd love to have it out, but who knows me?
You should do it right
Nobody
away.
knows me.
Doesn't matter. We started off with just stickers. And you know what we did first? I use this company. Where is it? This company, Sticker Mule. They're pretty popular. See, they're on Google, Netflix has used them and everything. They are fabulous. I have an account with them, and they do stickers, labels, magnets, buttons. I mean, it's crazy. So I started off with, I don't even know if I have them, because I got rid of them. The first label brand that we had was that little funny guy. That little you know what that came from? That came from Mark's. Oh, here it is. I have it right here. This is the very first sticker here. It even has TikTok on it. The funny thing is that growing up, whenever I did like Christmas cards or birthday cards to family or friends, Mark used to draw that cartoon drawing on every card. And so the boys were talking about, God, we got to get a brand for it. I said, why don't you we used to call him Marvin. I don't know why. We need to do a Marvin character. Do your Marvin character. And Mark just sketched it out, and I sent it in, and that was the first brand.
Wow.
Was that one. So we use that one, and we use, these are coasters. But then we have this one.
Oh, okay.
Which, when people started recognizing their face, then this became more of the brand. So we got a little of both going. It could be either or, but these are coasters that I use. So that's how that started. And then I went here to Sticker Mule, and they print out all our stickers and stuff for us. And I've done different kinds of merch. Now that I move over here. So I've got bumper stickers. I got KGXT Studios. I got pins. Especially Gen Xers will know the pins. Remember putting them on your jacket?
Yeah.
So look, they even put that on a button.
Oh, neat.
I know. So, what's this one? Oh, yeah. Here's the little Marvin and a button. They're really great. They have daily deals. I mean, I really, really love them. So I'm restocking all that right now. Yeah, I like this company a lot. They're really reasonable. The thing that I get with the merchandising is, which since you haven't like looked into it, is you have to find a company that will make on demand.
Right.
So you got to share some of your profit with that person that's going to make the t-shirts, right?
Right.
Then you got to find, like a lot of people use Shopify, that's going to be your source of where they can place the order, then be on demand, that works with Shopify. Then that demand shoots it out. So you got to realize what's your cost going to be at the end. Like, are you going to really make a profit? Like, because you got to pay for Shopify. You're going to have to pay for the on-demand stuff. I'm wondering, it's one of those where do we take that leap and we may be in the negative for a little bit before our merchandise takes off. You know, it's hard. It's really hard to figure it out. If I do it myself, I'm cutting out that middleman person.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and we don't do that much merchandise, but we have the ability to have more people buy merchandise. You know, if I put it out there. Like, the only way you can buy through us is through the website. It's not hooked to Facebook. It's not hooked to Instagram. It's not on YouTube. But if I was to open that up, I think the floodgates would open. That's it.
Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate it.
No.
What are you working on?
I'm working on the banter bubble video we just did.
Oh, yeah, here, let's take a look.
So, yeah, we just recorded it. So I threw together this right here.
Okay.
Like a little, probably going to just keep this template. And then I also made this right here, just a little thumbnail for us as well. Because we talked about LeBron versus Jordan. So I thought, keep it the same. These are clips from the episode to make it different every single time.
Right.
And then obviously the episode is going to change in whatever we put around it. In the middle of it, my camera actually glitched. So you can see right here, it glitched pretty bad. Hold on. Yeah, right here. As you can see, like it just started. Because this is one of the first cameras we ever put up. So yeah. So I stopped it, and I'm going to put a little technical difficulties thing there. And then I brought it back up while we were talking, so I would sync this part up with wherever we were in the talking. But it's not going to be...
We got two different cameras. Could you splice in him? Could you splice in your dad in that space where it's...
Yeah, I guess I could go like full screen with him if I wanted to. But what I'm thinking about keeping with like this format of video is to keep it just really simple, like low production of just... The main part of it is just us bantering. That way... If we can keep like the difficulty of creating it really low, but the view count high, it's the best way to do it. That's why like shorts work really well. You don't have to put a ton of effort into me bugging my dad, but it still comes out with a lot of views and like it's really funny. So that's what I'm trying to do. Like I'm probably gonna send this part right here to him next time. That way he can put like his camera right here and make it even easier for us. Because then I can just sync it up.
Welcome to the banter bubble, where me and my dad are going to, banter about all the different discussions that we have.
It just sounds like we're arguing, but now you're just picking a time and a place to argue.
So first off, we're going to talk about LeBron v. Jordan.
What does that mean? Just because he stuck around a long time that he's great?
No, because he's been great for so long, not because he's stuck around. Shaq isn't amazing because he played till 2010. No one remembers him after 2006. I think it's completely reasonable for us to banter about different topics such as this.
Who's got the most titles? Who's got the most defensive player of the years? Who's got the most offensive scoring titles?
Yeah, I'm not saying that LeBron James trumps Jordan in every category. I'm saying that LeBron James just far surpasses him in the majority of categories.
I've never heard it anywhere.
When was the last time you heard
on
someone
radio?
call
I've never heard it on TV.
People just say the GOAT now. People just say the GOAT. You're the GOAT
short or real.
Of basketball debates.
Never even
You're
heard
the GOAT
in a basketball
of
argument
installations.
commentary.
You're the GOAT of green screens. You never say, man, you're the Michael Jordan. No one said that. You don't even say that.
Like this was so off of a whim. Like I plugged in the microphone really fast without a stand because the cord didn't reach. And to sync up the audio, you usually clap. At the beginning of this, you clap, but I couldn't think of anything because I was holding it. I was like, oh, how am I going to clap into the mic if I'm holding it? So I hit my head a few times, like just to make the clapping at the beginning. I cut it off, but just to get it synced up for this part. He uses Premiere Rush to edit. I use Microsoft Clipchamp because it's like the same thing, but it doesn't tax my computer as much. So like
Premiere Rush, that'll take up a lot of your CPU. Not as much clip channel.
I got you.
So yeah, I'm just trying to keep it simple because it's like it's a first take, and if we do a few of them and it catches and it does really well, then we're gonna keep making them. Just keep making them. If it doesn't do anything, then on to the next idea to
very cool.
get something new. But yeah, you're coming at an interesting time of like we're just trying to break into long form more.
Stay in your lane, and you're supposed to know when not to stay in your lane and help me out.
Okay, then how are you supposed to tell her she's wrong without getting more mad?
How do I know that? As soon as I figure that out, I'll let her know her boxes of Amazon products are out front in the grass getting rained on for the past 2 hours after she lectured me on what a sunny day today was supposed to be.
Stand by. Twitch is up. Oh yeah, Twitch is another one.
PayPal is pinned. So we're looking for 2 Facebooks and Rumble still. Briggs, you got it going yet?
It's loaded.
I think we're ready. All right, microphones are going on. Okay, is everybody ready?
Facebook's up.
Okay, clicking over now.
Go.
Now it's going. Well, oh, now it goes. Now all of a sudden it decides to go. All right. So the pod track is moving up and down. The Streamlabs is moving side to side. I guess that's a good thing. I'm here. You're here. Doesn't that make it our time, Mr. Hand? I believe it does. All right. So before we get going, we got to give you just a little bit of background. Everybody sit down. Sit down. Yes, while I'm giving my little intro here, you got time to put the cat out, let the dog in, pull the drapes, dim the lights, grab your adult beverage, get one in each hand. Why put the cat out? They don't like the show. Dogs seem to. Bring the dog in. Are you with me so far? Good. Glad you're coming along. Okay. So
Wait. Don't you start with the drink?
I haven't started anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I'll
stay in my lane. I'm sorry.
I think you f***ing should. My God, I've been on 18 seconds and you're already giving me instructions.
I'll just sit here.
Woosa. 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 All right. Got to go to my happy spot. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, so there was stuff to say about that. But before we get going, we got something. There has been a creepy crawly weirdo following us around all day who looks like Greg Gutfeld. That's not a lie. Well, part of it's a lie. And so I'm going to click on right now just to give you an idea. This is our cameras. See Greg? Look at Greg with his camera and his headphones. He's ready to go. Genix Mom. He's been actually shadowing all of us all day, doing some stuff, kind of a behind the scenes. He's the guy behind the guy who knows the guy. He's been filming and recording and asking questions and poking and prodding. He got here early, so we did the podcast this morning. He saw that. He's been poking around while we edit, while we film, while we record what we're doing, and he's kind of bounced around to all three of us to see what goes on. He picked a busy day.
He did.
Thursday's a damn busy day around here.
Yes, he did. But that's what he wanted. He's got a lot of content.
So Greg, show him your 8mm. I think this is badass. He brought a real functioning 8mm camera, so when he films, he can blend in that old stuff. See, you guys use like apps and you guys use special effects to make something. He really uses Super 8mm to make it look old.
I'll use this right now.
That's badass. See, this is being flipped off in Super 8mm old style shit, baby. That's going to be some classic stuff right there. It's wonderful. It's an amazing thing.
It's like a speed gun.
It's just like a speed gun.
That's what it looks like, a speed gun.
And you can hear it going. So we were doing the podcast today, and all of a sudden we're talking, and he decides to film part of it, and you hear click, 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 click. You're like, the f*** is that noise?
Oh, it sounds like a gun going on.
That's right, Super 8mm. All right, so that's just letting you guys know when you hear his voice, he's on mic 4. He's got the headphones on. When you hear him going down the lane, that's why. I drink, and I'm going to tell you stories and lies. You with me? Okay. You're going to drink and believe everything I say. If you don't drink, all of it's going to sound like shit, which it is. None of it's true. All of it's made up, and the points don't matter. But if we drink together, this is all going to make perfect sense. You're going to want to come back for more. I'm relying heavily on the alcohol factor here. Did you notice?
This is her comment. I have to say, you are often very rude to your son. But you wouldn't be where you are right now without him. You owe him an apology. Stop being such a fucking dickhead to him. That was the comment that was given. Do you have feelings on it?
Should we just shut everything down and just call it quits? Because
you're over. You're done. Right?
I'm done. It's a haunting thing. I'm going to be in therapy for weeks now. You know what's really... Greg, I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something how this goes, just so you know. See, people like this, when you corner them on how fucking stupid they are. I bury them in their own comments, and then they're like, they have one way out. Oh, yeah, no, I knew, I was just trying to get a rise out of him. I was just trying to get him going, you see, and I did. I accomplished my goal. See what I'm trying to... She's now in a room of people that are, like, lighting her up, going, wow, he fucking destroyed you. See, this is where you got to come by and document all these dumb things we're doing. Greg, you got to come to the Vegas show.
Vegas.
You got to come up to the ones we do up there in Reno, and these events and things we do. We're doing a competition between a professional chef and Christine Matlock.
$100 for the Santa hat. Told you.
It's already at $150. There's 50 more bucks, and I gotta wear the fuck. I don't have the hat.
It's right behind you.
I don't have the hat.
It's right behind
It's
you.
right behind
the
you.
hat.
It's right behind
Shut up, Greg.
What's going on?
Shut up, Greg. You
It's
just
going
got
on
here.
$50.
So 50 more. Oh, there's 20. Wear the hat.
Come on,
30
let's do
more,
it.
people. 30 more, and we get
I
the
do
hat.
not want to fucking wear the hat.
Come on. Oh, there it
My
is.
God.
Jeremy
In the spirit.
Underhill.
Fucking
They
mother.
just
God.
made you your bitch.
All of you hate me. That's what it is. Every one of you has no feelings for me.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, put that hat on, babe. Here it goes.
All right. So do I put the headphones on after this or under
Whatever,
this?
I don't care. Oh, another $50. Holy mackerel. What are we up to now?
No, that ain't gonna work. Shut up! Don't laugh. It makes it worse when you laugh.
I love it.
What a resemblance.
I know, isn't it?
It is amazing.
It's crazy.
You're this close, buddy.
I'll sign it, don't
You're.
worry.
Oh, I love it. Put it behind your neck.
That's as good as I can get it. I can't do
It
any
looks
better.
really good. You can pass for a
Yeah,
Santa Claus.
it does look good.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody say good night.
Good night, Gracie.
Good night.
And there's Greg saying good night. Kid, you can tell everyone you're out?
Good night.
There he is. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening in around the planet. Not sure where you're calling in from, listening in from. AM, FM, Sirius XM, or perhaps you tuned in on the Armed Service Radio Network. Remember two things. Wherever you go in life, well, there you are. Look down. You can see it. And number two, I'll catch you guys on the flip side, because I'm out, baby. I'm exhausted.
Yep.
That's 2 big shows for me today, plus the filming, 2 filming things with him. I'm spent.
Long day.
Thursdays are a busy day.
And we're done.
All right, guys. Hey, here's that point in the video that I always like to add. I call it story time. Welcome to story time. So we're going to start with me, kind of break the ice. I'm going to tell a quick story. Mark's going to tell a quick story. I'll keep it short. I'll do my best, I swear.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to tell you, so you're going to have to...
You're going to have to come up with... You'll hear my story,
All right.
and you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right, so I'm looking at you guys. So, big Star Wars fan. I had the bed sheets. I had the Halloween costume. I had everything Star Wars. It was a big... I collected the little Kenner dolls, all of that stuff, all the Star Wars figures. Well, so I'm obsessed with getting these... And I get on my bike one day, and I've got a little bit of money that I earned from mowing lawns. I go down to the thrifty store that they had down the street on my bike. I had my backpack with me. I went in there. I saw like at least 4 or 5 new ones. I only had enough for one. Being the greedy kid that I was, I decided to grab all of them and walk a couple of aisles down and unzip my backpack and put him in the backpack, and I started to walk out, and that's when I felt a hand on my shoulder, and a guy flash a badge, says, "Pay less security, come with me."
Wow.
And so I go with him, and I know I'm dead. I know I'm dead, and I go into the back office with him. I give him our home phone number. He calls my dad, and my dad comes down, and he said, "Okay, this is what we're going to do. You're going to pay for the ones that you stole, and you're going to be doing extra work to pay for them, and we're going to have a talk when we get back home." And I knew what that meant. So my mom was a wooden spoon, and my dad was belt. So he said, "Get upstairs. We're going to talk about this in a minute. I'll be up there in a minute." So being the smart guy that I was, I think, what if I go upstairs and I take off my pants and I put on an extra pair of tidy whities. And so I did that. And so what, you can see what's coming. I get up there, he finally comes upstairs and he says, all right, the belt's coming off. And he says, take your pants down. I took my pants down. He saw the extra pair of tidy whities and I got beat even harder. And here's the moral of this story. I never stole again for the rest of my life. Because he taught me a lesson that I needed.
No, is that your story? I thought that was my story.
No, I'm starting with a story. No, that's how I'm breaking this. Did you do the exact same thing?
No,
Were you stealing? Yeah.
So you just want an insider story, kind of like that?
Yes, something that people don't know about you.
Well, I've told this story before a couple times, but it's been 4 years, so and guaranteed your listeners don't know.
Okay.
Your viewers. I was in 7th grade. I was attending Village Christian School, which was a private school. And I've been going there since kindergarten. This was my 8th year, 7th grade. And this is the first year we had PE and showers. So they had boys and girls locker rooms. They had boys and girls showers. They had boys and girls classes. And they had some, I don't know how the operations worked, but they had a big bin of towels. And you push this big, huge, heavy cart of towels, and if they're the dirty ones, you take them somewhere. I didn't know where. And you get the clean ones, and they weren't folded. You got a big old bin of clean towels. So 2 big rolling bins of clean towels come to the boys' locker room, and then they take one over to the girls' locker room. And I said, "Let me get inside this thing." So I'm 7th grade. I'm small, and I get inside this thing. My friends put the towels back on me, and they push me over to the girls' side. And I know I was inside. I don't think I ever got into the locker room because I know I was in the office and they was talking. And right as they started to move me into the locker room, to the showers where I could pop up and see all the naked girls, and they were from 7th grade to 12th grade.
Wow.
They would have been all the girls. A big hand grabbed me by the back of the neck and yarded me out from those towels. There's a big black guy named Mr. Plaison. He's a great guy. He's an awesome dude. I mean, I know him afterwards too. He's Zeus, you know. And he's like he grabbed me by the back of the neck and yarded me out of that thing. I was asked to leave the school, which I thought was a bit extreme.
Right.
I mean, I didn't actually see anything, you know. It was a little fun here. But, so I got in trouble for that. They actually didn't kick me out right away. I had to make a balsa wood airplane with Mr. Azarito if I wanted to stay, and I didn't want to make a balsa wood airplane. And then after that, they asked me to not come back.
Oh,
so there's my private Christian school story, trying to sneak into the girls' locker room. I was trying to have my own Porky's moment, if you will.
Porky's. That was going through my head when you were telling that story. I was like,
invented
wow,
something.
Like Porky's story.
And you only had a couple seconds. The idea popped in my head. I only had a couple seconds. I took my shot.
Yep.
Didn't succeed.
Nope.
Failed miserably.
Hey, at least you tried, right?
I talked to Mr. Plaisance, 15 years after that, and he just looks at me and goes, So, good guy, a lot of fun at that school, but yeah, it didn't work out.
Oh, well, that happens.
That was the first time they asked me to leave. I was asked to leave again in 11th grade also, because I went back.
Oh, I got you. So. All right. Well, guys, that's it for today. I really appreciate you checking this out. I'm going to throw their videos that we worked on up here in the corner, and then you can check out my last vlog down here in this corner. I really appreciate it. Remember, guys, there are millions of content creators. We're going to try to meet them all. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.